What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Sunday edition of Scoop with Devin and Funky. We're excited to be here. We're excited you guys are here with us. Don't forget to hit that like button, please. Hit the subscribe button as well. And a quick note before I ask Funky how his day was, for those of you that are subscribers to the Scoop message board, we apologize, man. Been down all day. The server company, something happened. It crashed, something like that, something out of our control. So we're hoping it's up within the next 30 minutes. So we apologize to you for that. But Funky, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, Devin. Yeah, I woke up feeling like a national champion once again, but as I was going on the scoop, I couldn't get on, and I've been kind of getting the shakes all day. I've been missing that message board community, missing talking about players. Want to talk about the Guardians game today, but maybe it's for the better that I didn't. That was an ugly fest. But yeah, like Devin said, the servers went out on the East Coast servers, and so it affected millions of sites. And they've been kind of we were told it should be on any moment now. So, but again, out of our control. But yeah, sorry that happened. But I'm very excited to be here talking with you, Devin, and to talk about some Buckeyes football. A lot has happened since the last time I was on a show, so we can talk about a whole lot of things today. But
Yeah.
starting with this year's team.
Yeah, we got a good show planned today. As Funky said, there's several things we could talk about, but real fast, man, it's funny you brought that up, Funky, about the message board, because if I'm honest with you about my morning routine, right, I get up and then read my word there for a minute, relax, and then the next thing I pick up is I get on my phone, go to Scoop message board to hit update, and it's not the one, and I'm like, what the heck, man? So had to go different avenues to try to look for any updates today, but yeah, it'll get fixed, man, and we'll keep rocking and rolling with that. But yeah, man, a lot going on. As you know, Buckeye Boyz, we interviewed a couple people last week, got some exciting interviews coming up. But for today's show, man, what we're going to do is dive into this upcoming roster right now. During this off season, between Funky, myself, and some other Scoop people, man, we've talked to some people inside the Woody, talked to several different people about some updates, man, about what's going on in there. Several of them are updates that we just already know about, right? A couple of them are updates that have happened, through interviews and different things like that. For the most part, nothing too wild. But what I do want to start off with involves the quarterback battle, right? We've had this Julian Sayin, Lincoln Keenholz debacle right here on Scoop. We kind of know it's Julian Sayin, right? But still, there's something in Buckeye Nation about that official announcement. Well, what I want to do on Big Ten Media Days, Jeremiah Smith was interviewed. So I'm just going to go ahead and play that real fast, and then I'll explain it afterwards. But we'll let you guys watch this here. See if I get this pulled up the correct way. All right, here we go. We'll take a second. We're going to watch this.
JJ, thanks for coming back. We had to re-record this. If you could scooch over a little bit. First off, I do have to ask, was Coach Day in lunch with you just now?
No, he wasn't.
Okay. Well, I'll be fair with you. I asked him about the quarterback. You said he probably was. I'm going to apologize in advance if I got you in trouble, but he didn't want to confirm of a quarterback. Okay. He said that, it's still a quarterback battle between Julian Sayin, and Lincoln Keenholz. Yeah. But going back to that, so between the...
And there you go, man. That was Jeremiah Smith.
Right? Oh, no. That. Oh, I was sorry. That was the second time watching it, but that time was even worse. Man, I'm cringing back here, David. That was bad.
Yeah.
Quarterback battle between Julian Sayin and who the other Lincoln Keenholz. Oh no! Why even bring that up again? Oh, JJ's gonna get like some extra sprints by Mickey at the workout. Oh, that's.
Yeah, so here, check it out. That wasn't even the worst part, man. They put an interview up where it said what they were talking about, right? And I saw that interview, and I guess I'll just say that, previously JJ was asked about that, and JJ made a comment about Julian Sayin, about how good Julian Sayin's going to be this year, and everybody took that as saying, "Hey, he snuck and gave a starting quarterback." Well, that was separate from this, and then this rolls around, and he gets in an interview, and just to put it straight up to you, he just straight up said it. Like, he just straight up said it, man. So they took it down, redid it, but it's something that we've known, man. So yeah, let's dive into it, dude. Starting quarterback, man. Any new news there? We just showed you the new news. Everything coming out, man. How impressed Ryan Day has been with Julian Sayin, the transfer from Alabama, #1 quarterback in his class. He just has the mindset to be a quarterback, man. The way he processes defenses, the way he diagnoses defenses, obviously newer quarterback, so he's going to go through some things. But I fully expect him to just outright win this. Day said, Big Ten Media Day, this ain't going into the season, right? A decision will be made. But Funky, your thoughts real quick.
I think the main point of this whole entire offseason, why we knew that we had our guy on Julian Sayin, was how Ryan Day approached that transfer portal. And as if he didn't for the quarterback position. We saw when Kyle McCoy and Devin Brown were fighting for their position, the starting quarterback battle. Well, Ryan Day was going after quarterbacks in the portal. He was tampering with Drake May. He was contacting, anyone who he thought was an improvement. But compared to this year, we go around and we look at what did Ryan Day, what did Ohio State go after in the portal? None of it was a quarterback. We didn't even smell a quarterback. And there was options. There was a ton of options that we could have gotten that would be, good starters in college football. Like, we'll see it this year. There's going to be a few quarterbacks out there that are going to be transfer kids who are going to play pretty well. I mean, Nico was a solid quarterback, talented kid. The Tulane quarterback transferred. The Vanderbilt, I'm forgetting the feed. Or Tennessee's now starting a new transfer quarterback. There's a few guys that we could have gone after who would be, good quarterbacks in the NFL that might play themselves into the draft next year. But we didn't. We stuck with our guns. We stuck to Julian. And that's what we've been saying for so long now. I mean, Julian was super impressive last year at fall camp. And then he goes in, plays, fine, limited snaps during the season. But, he made some plays. I know everyone remembers that one horrible play versus Tennessee. But besides for that, he looked pretty good, pretty fine. And we go into this spring, and it's all the reports you hear are, Julian looks bad. Julian looks bad. Julian looks bad. This is a real battle. This is a real battle. And we've been telling y'all that that's just not true. That's just false. That's just equivalently false and completely untrue. And there's still today true Ohio State writers that are claiming that it's still a battle. It's still a battle. And now they're like, Julian will probably win the battle, but that was the same guys that were hating on him, 6-7 months ago. And I remember talking to people about who's going to start for us next year. And they're like, well, I've heard Julian looks really bad. And I'm like, well, we must have completely two different sources, because what I'm hearing is he looks really, really good. And we've been saying this for, over a year now, Devin. You remember watching last year with Nevada, talking about how good Julian looks. And nothing has changed since then. It's been his battle to lose this entire time, and he just pulled away every week we go farther. But Lincoln's he's a good quarterback, and he's one of the better backup quarterbacks we've had in a while. Probably since a while. I can't even remember the last good backup quarterback we've had here at Ohio State.
Yeah. Real fast before I dive into that, a couple people, man, they saw me go live earlier with nothing on my background. Yes, I hung a few things up for now. Back there. So yeah, I see people in the chat talking about that. Thought that was funny. I think I'm playing some trick on them. No, that's really hung up back there. So, but yeah, you guys will see earlier, man, I've been blessed with a couple opportunities this year to hang out with some of these Buckeyes, man. Went bowling in Miami. JJ Smith, Carnell Tate, Brandon Ennis, Mylan Graham were there. I'm about to pull some pictures up when we talk about the wide receivers, but just to put it bluntly, man, if people know if there's, one person knows who the starting quarterback is going to be, it's the players, man, because Day mentions that. He mentions how the quarterback needs to get control of this team. They need to be the leader, and the players are going to let that be known, man. And based off conversations I have, there's a pretty good feeling in there on who that is. And we see that coming out in these Jeremiah Smith interviews. So, yeah, I'm excited for Julian this season. But moving on to running back, man, I don't have anything quite new, man. We got CJ Donaldson in there, who I am stoked about, man. He lost some weight coming in here, said this is the fastest he's ever been, man. And then we got this animal right here. That's James Peoples, man. And everything coming out of the Woody is this dude is just an absolute workhorse, man. I mean, look at him, bro. I mean, he is just built to be a running back. I expect him to be a star this year. You saw limited reps in the spring. I think that was on purpose because I think that they don't really need to see much more from James Peoples. And kind of the question in the running back room is, hey, how much will we see of freshman Bo Jackson? There's some people predicting he has impact time this year. I think he's an absolute stud, and I do think he sees the field, but I don't think so much as an impact time unless somebody gets injured, because I think CJ, people might be sleeping on him a little bit. I spoke to some teammates on the defensive side of the ball, and I asked them, who is the number one person on this team that you do not want to tackle? And all four mentioned CJ Donaldson first. Now think of that loaded roster that Ohio State has. They said him. And these are big-time defensive players that I asked that direct question to. So pretty interesting one. Funky, any updates on the running back position?
I remember early on in spring, I brought up how CJ Donaldson looks noticeably faster and quicker than he did when he first got on campus. Because you're right. I mean, he lost a ton of weight, and I was told he looked very twitchy out there. I think Peoples was dealing with a little bit of an injury early on in the spring, so TJ got a little more reps in, and he looked very impressive. Clearly, Peoples is the workhorse back, and we should all expect him to get the majority of the carries and the majority of the yards and the majority of the touchdowns. But CJ Donaldson's a dude. I mean, he's a dude. He's a guy who's going to be, fighting for a spot in the NFL come next year. Or I've lost track on his eligibility a little bit, but he's trying to be an NFL player. Those are his mindset. And Ohio State, from what I was told, has him graded as a, fifth, sixth round guy going into the year. So he's going to be hoping playing into that fourth, early fifth, maybe late third round, which, is a mega high spot for a running back. So he's going to be good. The running back room is not going to take too many far steps back. Clearly, when you lose Trayvon and Quinshawn, who are, let's just say it, they're pretty much first round picks. They were like picks 32 and 33. They are pretty much in the first round, the first 40 picks of the draft. And so obviously we're going to have a decent drop off there. But the offensive line is going to be better than it was from the second half of last year. And that's a fact. It just is. So I expect them to have huge years, big years. I think we're going to run a lot of heavy personnel. I think they're going to get a lot of carries. I think because they're going to be Julian's best friend in the passing game and the running game. I think especially versus Texas, I think we're really going to go after their rookies in the middle early, and we're going to have to own the offensive line. So I can definitely see Peoples and Donaldson having really heavy workloads, and especially during that, that 4-game stretch where we have 3 road games at Washington, at Illinois, and at Wisconsin. I think that's when we're really going to see the true powers of Peoples and Donaldson, because that's when you're on the road, it's night, it's windy, it's cold, you have to run the football. And I think that's really where we're going to see them eat, and I have full confidence that them two are going to eat. And we'll see Bo Jackson like we saw Peoples last year. For the first 6 games of the season, I'm pretty sure Peoples was outperforming Henderson yards and touchdowns and carries wise, because he was just getting way more carries because the games are 30-0 and they put Peoples in. So I would expect a similar thing this year with Bo Jackson. But remember, we got 3 freshmen running back. We have Bo Jackson, Turbo, and then the Pennsylvania running back. I'm blanking on Isaiah Rogers, right? That's something.
Isaiah something. I forget his last name.
The running back from Pennsylvania, the same school Marvin went to. He's a big guy. That's a really great freshman running back class we have. So I expect to see a lot of them 3 when we blow out Grambling State and whoever in Ohio or Toledo or for a third game.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt, man. I think we're good at running back position. A little young, but brought in CJ, and also James got to spend a whole season behind Quinshon and Trey. So not worried there. Moving on to wide receiver position, man. I'll throw the starters in there. JJ Smith, Carnell Tate, Brandon Ennis. That's who I think is going to be starting, man. A few things, right? JJ Smith, man, has gotten bigger, faster, and stronger, and we're not quite sure how that's possible. He's at 225 pounds. Coaching staff wants him down to 223. I got the privilege, right, to chill with him for a minute, man. He's a big human being. I'm 5'11", 230 pounds, and that might show you there. He's a pretty big dude, man. Carnell Tate, I've recently got to speak, Jameer Brown, the 2027 number one wide receiver in that class. He's a friend of the Buckeye Boyz here. So I spoke with him a little bit, and Jaquaden Guilford. And there's this thing going around that Carnell Tate is the number one route runner in the nation. And a lot of these up and coming receivers look to Carnell Tate about his route running. So I found that very interesting as well. Brandon Ennis is elite at route runner as well. But the questions, man, this is what brings it up. Such a loaded room. Bryson Rogers doesn't get talked about very much. And I think he's an absolute unit, man. Everything I hear about him and the work that he puts in, I think he's going to see some minutes this year. Saw some minutes last year. You got Mylan Graham. My boy right here, that's old Mylan, man. We saw him just explode in the spring game as well. So thinking he's going to see some time this year. Got Quincy Porter, the freshman coming in. So curious to see, how they shuffle all of these wide receivers around. Funky, any thoughts there?
I mean, I think one of the biggest battles we'll see in the fall is between Mylan Graham and Brandon Ennis. Because Mylan Graham, I'll tell you right now, is too good to not play. But we saw it last year. Brandon Ennis made some of the most low-key important plays in the entire Buckeye season last year. There was a few third downs he made it was a big third down versus Notre Dame. There was that big touchdown pass versus Penn State. I mean, it seemed like Brandon Ennis was always there making plays, especially on third down. Carnell Tate as well. But, him and Brandon had just some of the most underrated plays last year. I think Carnell, we don't win that Texas game without Carnell Tate. I'll tell you that. We don't win that. We don't. No. And Brandon Ennis saved us on third downs a lot. I mean, obviously we have JJ. That helps a ton. But to talk about, Mylan Graham versus Brandon Ennis, how do those reps get split up? Because Carnell Tate is the second best wide receiver in America. Second or third best wide receiver in America. That's the truth, I think. I would not genuinely, and that's not trying to be being biased. That's just the genuine facts. I think Oregon proved that by offering him over $1 million to transfer there. So, of course, they must think he's better than Evan Stewart, who was a legit, NFL pick before he got injured. So the big battle between Mylan and Brandon. And then my answer to that is we probably just see a lot of both of them, Devin. We probably just see a ton of both of them because they're both absolute superstars. And I really don't see anyone else playing besides them four. I think it'll be a 4-man rotation. And you'll probably see Bryson Rogers play a little bit. In dead time, Quincy Porter play a little bit in dead time. But them core four, those are 4 of the top 10 wide receivers in America. And I know that seems biased, but if you go to these other teams and ask, hey, where would this guy be on your roster? Mylan Graham would be wide receiver 1 on all of them, pretty much all of them. So, the wide receiver room is just ridiculous, and it's just going to keep getting better. But those are some good photos, Devin. You met the entire zone 6.
It's sick, dude.
Yeah,
awesome.
that's insane. Mylan had his little cap on. His little gown.
Yeah, he did, dude. Yeah, he did. Now, the only thing I'll say about Mylan, and people don't like it, which obviously didn't matter. He performed in the spring game right, and this is supposed to be the truth, what I'm about to say. J.J. Smith's an outlier, but there's a big difference physically in Carnell Tate, Brandon Ennis, and then Mylan Graham, right? second year in the program. So there's a big difference there. I've seen him in person. There's quite a big difference. But I wanted to bring up Carnell Tate, man, because you said something that, believe it or not, I think goes under the radar. One of the best wide receivers in the country. He was our number 3 receiver last year, bro. Like, and you got to remember, Carnell Tate was behind Jeremiah Smith and another first round wide receiver, Emeka Egbuka, like what, the leading receiver in Ohio State's history for yards, Emeka Egbuka, right? So it's like, or receptions or something like that. But that's the thing, man. I think a lot of people don't, when you say that, I'm not quite sure it really sinks into people the type of receiver Carnell Tate is, unless you're a diehard Ohio State fan. But look at the receivers he's been behind. That's why you haven't really seen that or heard that. But I completely agree with you, man. And believe it or not, I don't think that gets enough. I don't think he gets talked about enough. The one thing I will say about what you said is, I just don't know if I think we might see a little more of Bryson Rodgers this year than we're expecting. But we could go back and forth on that. We absolutely loaded wide receiver room. We know that, man. Got 5 in this class. It's pretty ridiculous. On to the tight end room, man. We know we got Max Clare. That's a first round tight end. We haven't had Ohio State for a while. We got Bennett Christian, really good blocker. We got Will Kazmarek, really good blocker. The only question mark in that room is Jelani Thurman, man. To me, what's he going to do? I mean, how long? He's in that CJ Hicks category of just talking about the skill set that he has, but we haven't seen it yet. I'm interested to see what he does this year. Funky?
It's funny because, I mean, Jelani made one of the probably top 10 plays of the entire season for us. I mean, if y'all remember the 4th and 1 versus Penn State, fake pass, or, heavy set, fake or roll it for play action pass. Will Howard sheds off a dual Carter, throws it to a wide open Jelani, and he bobbles it about 15 different times, and then comes down with the catch. And my heart just went up and down that entire play. Felt like 30 years. But yeah, I mean, he's going to be an interesting piece in this year's team, because the facts are he's not Max Clare, and Will Kazmarek is an absolute stud. Will got injured last year, so we didn't really see the full of him. We really missed him. We really missed him in those middle games. I mean, from Oregon to, I forget when he came back, but he was gone for a while, and we missed him. And by the playoffs, he was back, and he was a dang good player for us. He really helped us out when we needed it most. He did all the dirty things for us, and I just don't know what Jelani's role is going to be. I know we're going to use the tight ends a lot more this year than maybe we'd expect. I know Keenan Bailey and Brian Hartline are good buddies. And I also got to bring up the one thing that no one's talking about is the new wide receiver coach we got from Oregon. I'm just now blanking on his name, but I mean, that's a big get for us. That's a big get for the Buckeyes there, Devin. I mean, taking one of the best wide receiver coaches in the nation, adding that to Brian Hartline, adding that to Keenan Bailey. I mean, that's a dang good offensive room there. And there's going to be a lot of new things in the offense. But like Ryan Day said, he likes keeping the offense the same, no matter who's calling plays. Even last year, Chip Kelly, he says he likes keeping the offense the same. So I think we see that. I think Will Kazmarek and Max Clare are obviously going to be stars. I hope Jelani comes and looks good. But the person that I'm most excited to see is Nate Robinson. I think he is. Did I just mispronounce his name? No, maybe.
That's it.
Yeah, Nate Robinson. He's an absolute star. I mean, he looked like an absolute freak during the spring game, and that's all we've been hearing. Roberts. Oh my God, Nate Roberts. Shoot,
that's right.
He's gonna be an absolute star for Ohio State, and that tight end room is. I mean, again, it's the best tight end room we've had in my lifetime.
Yeah, it's wild, but again, the tight end room, the offense this year, man, has the potential to rise above the offense that we had last year, and that's saying a whole lot, man. But real fast, we're in the middle of it. I want to remind people, please hit that like button for us. Big deal, helps us with the YouTube algorithm. Also, man, hit the subscribe button on both channels, the Buckeye Boyz channel as well, that we do over there. So head over to that channel and the Scoop channel as well. And super chats are open. All super chats here on Scoop. They go to help first responders, firefighters, and veterans. So we appreciate any support you guys show this channel. On to the next one, man. Offensive line. This is probably where I've received my biggest piece of information, to be honest with you. But it's not a new piece of information, man. It's just not, dude. And it's, I think several people have heard it, but it's Austin Sareveld, man. So here would be my starters, right? Austin Sareveld, right tackle. I'll throw Tegra Shabola in right now. Then we'll get into this conversation. Carson Hensman, Luke Montgomery, and Ethan Anianwa, right? Let me get a picture up of him. But we got Philip Daniels, the transfer from Minnesota, and who I'm hearing the Buckeyes love a lot. And believe it or not, could be pushing Tegra Shabola at that right guard position. But let's focus in on Ethan, big number 78 right there, man. That's our left tackle this year. Big, mean, aggressive offensive lineman who is becoming a leader in the room. On to the other side, Austin Sareveld. Listen, man, what if I were to tell you Austin Sareveld was going to be a first-round offensive lineman? Would that just sound absolutely insane to a lot of people? But we know what he did, won the Iron Buckeye award, and has become a big-time leader, man. I'm telling you right now, there is a lot of excitement inside the Woody about Austin Sareveld. There's no doubt about that. In this offensive line in general, what Carson Hensman is doing, training with Charles Bentley in the offseason. Luke Montgomery came in the end of the last season and just absolutely tore it up. So he got that playoff experience coming back again. Tegra Shabola, he knows what's behind him, right? He feels that pressure. And, you got Ian Moore, Philip Daniels, Gabe Van Sickle. You got some dogs, Jake Cooks in the second team.
Josh Padilla.
Yeah, Josh Padilla. Can't believe I just forgot his name. So it's been a minute, man, since I've been able to rattle off our offensive line and our offensive line depth, and I'm stoked about it. This is I can confidently tell you right now, this is going to be a top 5 offensive line in the country, and they've been left off top 10 lists in the country, and it dumbfounds me, Funky. So am I being a homer here about anything I just said? So run down through offensive line with us, man.
Yeah, I mean, this offensive line, I was going to say it's one of the best offensive line we've seen at Ohio State in a while, but that'd be me being a little bit because this offensive line to me is not better than the starting offensive line last year. But again, that's the starting offensive line last year that had, first round pick, left tackle, is going to start in the NFL day one, Josh Simmons coming off a, really bad knee injury. The first round pick, left guard, Donovan Jackson. And you know what? The center of the year, the best center in the entire nation. So will it be better than that offensive line that people said was trash going into last year? No, probably not, but by our offensive line that was happening, that we had in the playoffs, that we had, in the 12th game of the season, the 11th game of the season and on. Yeah, this offensive line is going to be a big improvement from the offensive line that, won us the entire thing, won us the national championship. So I'm very, very excited. We know how high the staff is on Ethan. We gave Ethan a blank check, like I paid him $1.5 million, which is a hefty amount for a 1-year rental at left tackle. We know Ethan got NFL grades last year, so I'm very excited for him to, step into that left tackle role. Then we got left guard, Luke Montgomery coming back. Luke Montgomery's a dog. The worst part about it, Luke Montgomery, if we don't have these injuries, Luke Montgomery's probably in the portal right now.
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
he probably is, because he didn't see the field all season. He didn't see this field in the playoffs. He probably leaves in that winter portal, and he probably doesn't even stay on the team for the entire time. But those injuries happen. The roster opens up a little bit. Tigra has a really horrible game in that that game that we don't want to talk about, and then Luke steps in that starting role versus Tennessee and balls out. I know that one clip went viral, but he did so much more than that the entire game. So that was great to see. The center, Carson Hensman, he's probably the best center in America. People don't want to say it. Probably that's just the truth. This is going to be his 3rd year starting at Ohio State. I mean, if we count last year, he started as a redshirt freshman, which never happens. Then, so then he played last year in the national championship game as a redshirt sophomore, and he's going to be starting as a redshirt junior this year. So he could be a rare, 4-year starter for the Buckeyes, which would just be, I mean, unheard of, especially on the offensive line. Then at right guard, I agree with Devin. I think it's Tigra, but I think Phillips starts by, week 7, week 8. I just think they're going to give Tigra the nod day one versus Texas. Tigra's been there, done that. He's played Texas. He's played Notre Dame. He's played Bama. He's played Tennessee. So he hasn't played Bama. He played Michigan. He played Indiana. He's played these teams, and he's played in some of the biggest games in Ohio State history. So they'll for sure give him the nod day one. I think Phillips as a, third-year player, and he's a redshirt sophomore. I think he might need a second, but he's been a star. I mean, he's been an absolute stud. When we have Phillips and Ian Moore and then Josh Padilla coming up, and then you're right, Jake Cook has been getting some of these second team reps, which is hysterical, by the way, because Jake Cook was a kid that no one cared about out of high school, 3-star kid, Ohio State, or 3-star Ohio kid who didn't even get an offer till late in the cycle, got an offer, instantly committed. I mean, he's a stud. He's going to play big time minutes for Ohio State, just a matter of time. He'll probably redshirt this year and have 4 years of eligibility left, but he's an absolute stud because he's going into his first year and he's already getting second team reps. And that does not happen at Ohio State. It just doesn't. So, And he's doing it. He's really showing out. So I expect him to get pretty big minutes next year as a redshirt freshman. And then, and that sums it up. Forgot Austin. I mean, Austin, and me and Devin have both heard looks like the best offensive lineman in the room. He looks like the best offensive lineman in the room. He's the vocal leader on the offensive line. I mean, would you be shocked if he got the captain patch on his body this year, Devin? Based off what we're heard, I wouldn't be. And that's rare. That's a redshirt sophomore. So that's a kid that could be on a team for 3 years, 3 more seasons. And him, Carnell, JJ are my captain watches for the offense. Carnell, JJ, then defensively we can talk about that when we get to there. But I mean, Austin's a star. I mean, we've been told if they said if Donovan Jackson's a first round pick, then they say Austin's better than Donovan. That's just what we were told, and we're passing that along. So I mean, if that's true, then man, this offensive line is more than national championship caliber, and it should. Yeah. So I'm very excited to watch it. And again, they're going to be tested week 1. But I'm very excited for that because I think we're gonna get the better of Texas there.
Yeah. We weren't told that by message board warriors. I'll just say that. But another aspect to this offensive line, talked to a source and he brought this up. Man, he brought up the confidence that's in that room. I mean, the Armstrong twins too. I got to bring them up because of what I've been hearing about them. But after what the offensive line went through last year. Right, all the changes, and they were able to still what to do. That instilled a lot of confidence. And I mean, the Armstrong twins, I mean, players that didn't even see the field, that still gives that position room confidence, man. And what Austin Searveld and Ethan Onion and Carson Hinsman, kind of 3 leaders of that room, are doing in that room right now, man. They're fired up in there about it. Switch over to the other one, man. Defensive line. That you took a vote on, what Buckeyes are worried about. They're going to raise their hand there. I could see why you could be worried. I'm a little less worried probably than your average fan is. I'll tell you this, Kenyatta Jackson, not getting enough love. I put out a tweet about a prediction that he's going to have more production than Jack and JT did last year. Now, hence, they played 16 games, so we'll see if they play the same amount of games. But bro, Kenyatta Jackson, after that pro day, really opened up a lot of people's mind. I mean, he was a top, 50 player in the nation, recruited, top 100, something like that. And he's just your prototypical defensive end. And he is just getting a lot of rave right now inside the Woody. And then Bo Atkinson, who, by the way, I believe is number 14. There he is. There's our dude, Bo, who I think was the most important pickup in the portal. I don't want to say that without thinking about it. Might be, man. Can kick inside. And so can Kenyatta Jackson. Putting on a little bit of weight there. Can kick inside as well. Logan George, Caden Curry, CJ Hicks. There's your 3 CJ Hicks, Caden Curry, your three kind of speed rushers on the defensive end. Logan George coming in, transfer from the FBS, a good player as well. Get this down, what I got going on here. Okay. And defensive tackles. Edric Houston, K-Mac, man, we know what we got there. And Will Smith Jr. is a player that is getting a lot of love, man, right now inside the Woody. I was told had the biggest year out of any defensive tackle in the room, the biggest offseason out of any defensive tackle. And I saw how K-Mac has changed his body. Edric has changed his body as well. So there's a lot of body changes going on in that room right now compared to last year. You got Jason Moore, Tywan Malone back there. We'll see if they can contribute. I think they'll be able to contribute to a certain extent. But another name that got brought up, not so sure about this year, but his name's been brought up to me a couple different times, man, and that's Eric Mensah. The dude, I think, got him from Virginia Tech. Think he was ranked below top 1,000 players in the country. But Eric Mensah is a worker, man, and somebody to keep an eye on for the future. Funky, give us your rundown on the defensive line, man.
I think, sorry, I got to bring up, Bo Atkinson is the biggest transfer portal get for the Buckeyes. I mean, could very well be true. I mean, it's clearly top three, with Max Clare, Ethan, and then you got Bo there. I mean, those are three certified starters for the Buckeyes this year. And Bo's, I mean, probably for one of the biggest positions of need. You can argue tackle, but defensive ends for sure up there with them boys.
Forgot about Ethan. My bad.
Oh no, it's just, I mean, those are just three players that are going to be fighting for the top 3 rounds in the NFL draft either this year or next year. So it's hard to go wrong with any of them. But you got Bo, who I think is just going to be I think he's going to be a beast at what he does at Ohio State. He's going to be that type of player where he fills those holes, gets to the quarterback, gets a lot of tackles for losses, and really just does his job. Because that's all we've heard from him from when he got on campus is just nose to the ground, hardworking player, rarely screws up, just extremely solid defensive end. Then you move to the middle, you got Edric Houston and Caden McDonald. I mean, those are two of the. I mean, those are both guys that are fighting for All-American this year. And we saw how impactful Caden McDonald was last year for Ohio State. We talked about some of the big plays Jelani Thurman made for the offense and some of the big plays Brandon Innes made and Carnell Tate made. You can say the same about Caden McDonald. When the Buckeyes needed him the most, when we ran into that our first and goal on the 1 yard line versus Texas, the goal line versus the team up north, the goal line versus Indiana, Caden McDonald is the beast right there in the middle. And he was extremely disruptive. Oh, and Penn State. I mean, he single-handedly saved that Penn State game for us at the end there. I mean, he was an absolute freak. So I'm definitely excited to watch Edric, who I think is going to be an All-American this year. And then Caden McDonald, who's an absolute beast, rotating that defensive tackle position. And I also think we can even talk about Arvell Reese in that pass rush on the defensive line. Because one thing that we know that we've been alluded to is that the defense is going to look a lot different than it did last year. So if you think the defense is going to look similar than it did this year, then I would think, I just think you're going to be wrong on that. I think the defense is going to look a lot different, and I think a big portion of that is going to be having Arvell Reese really be a part of this defensive line group and get to the quarterback. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes with that. And then of course you have Kenyatta Jackson, who. You're right. He's one of the best pass rushers we've had at Ohio State in, a bit. It's been a while. It's been 2021. Sachs Harrison maybe, and even Harrison had some troubles getting the quarterback at times. But I think Kenyatta Jackson is going to be that extremely. He's like 6'6". He gained some weight this offseason. Just beast on the defensive line for Ohio State. And if you want to watch a Kenyatta Jackson highlight reel, don't go any further than the Rose Bowl game versus Oregon. Kenyatta Jackson was an absolute problem versus Oregon. And not just when it was 34-0. I mean, when the game was 7-0, 14-0, 21-0. I mean, he 17-0, sorry. He was an absolute problem. He played that defensive end position perfectly. He was faster than the Oregon offensive tackle, stronger. He had great hands versus Oregon, and that was a perfect game for me to watch. And I was on a plane recently and I got to rewatch that entire game. I've never watched the TV copy of that game, Devin. So I got to watch
Really?
every play, every commercial. I was enjoying it all. I enjoy my guilty pleasure is the little hype up videos before the games where they
Oh
showed
yeah.
I didn't even know they had that. 'Cause I was at so many of the playoff games. I didn't even know they did the commercials with like only one team will win it all and the hardest road yet. And that just got me fired up knowing,
Yeah.
we went through that hardest round. We ended up winning it all. But yeah,
No.
that was good. That was my guilty pleasure. But I'm very excited to watch this defensive line play. And I'm not worried about the defensive line, really. I'm not really worried about any part of this Ohio State team. And trust me, I would have told you if I was, because yeah, I mean, we're here for honesty, but I'm just really not. We have so many dudes there, and you can go to the second strings, and yeah, Logan George is a great player. I mean, I think he led the FCS in tackles for loss last year, so he's going to be an absolute stud, and I'm really excited. But yeah, now we can move on to whatever you want to talk about next.
Yeah, for sure. I got to mention this, man. Didn't mention him because not so sure about impact this year, but Epi, defensive end, freshman, Zion Grady. Epi, big friend of the Buckeye Boyz, man, been on the show several times. Zion Grady. If you're excited about Zion Grady, and I know you are because of everything we've been hearing about him, you need to be excited about Epi too. Didn't come in till later, but man, I saw a recent picture of him, man. I need to get it and put it up here. Saw one that isn't available like on the internet and stuff. The dude's jacked already. It's wild, man. What these freshmen, what Mick's able to do with these freshmen in like a month, even, dude. It's absolutely wild. So yeah, linebacker position, man. We got talked to somebody lately who said Arvell Reese is better than Sonny Styles, man. And Sonny Styles got called one of the best players to ever come through Ohio State by Ryan Day in Big Ten Media Days. So we know we're loaded there. I think their positions might look a little probably different or more different than any other position on the field this year because of Matt Patricia. He's going to utilize Arvell Reese in particular and Sonny Styles, but you got Peyton Pierce, who's come up through the rankings, tough nose, Texas linebacker, wrestler, just got all the praise in the offseason. Then, of course, you got Riley Pettijohn, who people can't stop talking about him either. Also a friend of the Buckeye Boyz. And TJ Alfred, him as well. I've interviewed him as well. They're going to be absolute beasts. And I'm very excited to watch the linebacker position this year. It's between that in the safety position that I think I'm most excited to see play on the field this year. But a funky updates on linebacker position.
I mean, it's another position that we just have, freaky talent at. I mean, Arvell, first of all, let's go back to his recruiting ranking. No one was excited about Arvell Reese. He was called a black backup option. He was called Plan B. People hated when we got him. He was, oh no, we lost out on blah, 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 5-star linebacker that we haven't heard of since. I can't even remember his name. That's how relevant he has turned out to be. But, Arvell, an Ohio kid, 3-star kid out of high school. And, there's people out there calling for his All-American season this year. There's people being like, wow, he is one of the best players on this defense, if not the best player in this defense, not named Styles, obviously. Not Styles. Caleb Downs, my bad. Yeah. There's people really saying that. And with Matt Patricia, the person that's going to benefit the most from Matt Patricia's new defense is going to be Arvell Reese. Arvell Reese is an absolute freak. And I'm excited to see him. I think you're right. Styles is going to be you got to remember how young this kid is. Let's just think about this. Styles, he was a 17-year-old freshman at Ohio State. 17-year-old freshman going into Ohio State because he went a year early. So he really
Brock
should
Bowers.
He should be a sophomore right now. Yeah, he should be a sophomore right now, but he should be a junior going into the season, but now he's a senior. So he was a 17-year-old freshman, and now he's a 20-year-old going into his senior year at Ohio State. Am I getting that wrong? He could have been a 16-year-old freshman.
It's his senior year. Yeah, he's going into his senior year.
Yeah. I'm just forgetting how old because he's 20 now. He's 20 years old now. So he was 19 as a junior. Yeah, he was 17 as a freshman. I got that right. Okay. He was a 17-year-old freshman, guys. You realize how young that is? there's high schoolers that were 19. And I'll tell you right now, dang, I was 19 in high school, or at the very end. At the very end, I was 19 in high school. In June, my senior year, I just turned 19. So, like, and he was a 17-year-old at Ohio State. Think about that, guys. I mean, that kid's old. I mean, sorry, young, super young. And now he's a 20-year-old senior. He has so much room to grow as a football player, as a person, as in the weight room, off the weight room, on the field. And you add all that, and then you also add that he went from safety to linebacker. I mean, we got to give this kid some time to grow, Devin? We got to give him some time to grow and develop as a football player. And I think we can see one of the biggest improvements from year to year to be Styles. And Styles was a legit starter last year. And he started every game. He looked kind of rough at times, especially versus Oregon, Oregon the first time around. But now in his senior year, his last year at Ohio State, I mean, I expect a big season for him. And he's another kid that I could, pencil into the first round or second round in the NFL draft in this next upcoming year. And I'm very excited. And obviously you got Peyton Pierce, who he's been talked about in the media seemingly for 3 years now. And he's James Laurinaitis' favorite player. So you're definitely expect to see a lot of Peyton Pierce. And those are the three guys I expect to see the most out of. And then you got to talk about the young guys. You got Alford and you got Pettijohn, two of the most talented kids we've had at Ohio State here in a while. I mean, you got to remember Alford was on the verge of flipping, I guess, to Florida State, and when everyone freaked out, didn't flip, never happened. He got Thong-wronged to Miami or whatever, but Florida State. They ended up staying a Buckeye and creating one of the best linebacker, freshman rooms that we've ever had out here at Ohio State. I think Pettijohn's an absolute stud. And if he needs to play, I would feel confident with him playing. But I don't expect it that much because of those three guys in front of him. But I'm very excited about this linebacker room. I think they're freaky. And you're totally right. This is going to be a different linebacker room than we've had at Ohio State in a while, just purely off athleticism. Because Cody Simon, okay, I shouldn't even say that. Cody and Sonny last year were, studs. Those are absolute freaks of nature. And Cody had the year of his life and played himself into the 4th round, I believe. So what a freak. And the Rose Bowl MVP. Yeah, that guy was a dang good player here for Ohio State. Yeah. But I think he taught a lot to these younger guys, and I expect big years from all of them.
Yep, no doubt. Funky, don't you have a hard stop in 13 minutes, right?
Yes, I do, Devin. My bad.
Okay, well, we got to get – no, that's okay. I'm just telling you. We got 13 minutes. We got one super chat, and we're going to throw corner and safety in there. Here I go. Got a pretty recent update from a source that Lorenzo Styles is solidifying that starting job to nickel position and a leader on the team. That's a little bit of a surprise to me. Jermaine Matthews on the outside, Igbenos on the outside. Chat's wanting to know. We worried about Iggy hurting us this year. Got pretty aggravated him last year, some of those. But you just gotta trust the coaching staff, man. Iggy brings an energy to that corner room that I think is needed, man. And he knows what's up, man. We see it as fans. He knows what he needs to correct, and he's had a whole offseason to do it. So I got faith there. You got Bryce West waiting in the back. You got Scott waiting. And you got probably the most talked about freshman in this class, Devin Sanchez, who was recently seen in a picture with all the safeties. He's going to be in the rotation this year. Devin Sanchez 100% is going to be in the rotation. I don't know that he's taken anybody's starting position because of all the experience that we have on this team. But I do know that it's possible, right? And on to something that needs to be talked about more. We need to get more excited about this position battle right now going on with what safety is going to be playing beside Caleb Downs. Malik Hartford and Jalen McClain are absolutely killing it. It is the most intense position battle inside the Woody Hayes right now. And they're going to have a hard time picking which one's going to be the starter. I'm surprised and excited about Malik Hartford's jump that he has taken this offseason. I mean, if I'm correct, didn't he play as didn't he have to come in and play as a freshman? I can't quite remember, but
yeah, him and McClain had some minutes.
Yeah. So excited, man. Everything I keep getting told about that position battle that's going on in there is the good news about it is whoever wins, we got a stud, man. Whoever wins, because I'm telling you right now, I've talked with several sources, and every one of them brings that up right there. They say, hey, you guys might want to pay attention to this because it's going down inside the Woody. We got 2 hungry players with some serious skill sets, and they got to fill some big shoes, man. Lathan Ransom, they got to fill some big shoes. And after talking with a couple sources, man, they're not worried about either one of those players eventually coming up and filling those roles. Funky, updates there?
Yeah, I mean, we can go start at the cornerback room. We have, Jermaine Matthews and Iggy as, the superstar tandem who, there's no better cornerback duo in the country than them two. And we saw Jermaine Matthews a huge role last year on that Ohio State national championship winning team. And we saw Iggy, who people can hate all they want on him, but the moral of the story is if he would have went to the NFL last year, or if he would have declared for the draft, he would have been drafted ahead of Denzel Burke. He would have been in the first 4 rounds. So as much as people want to hate on him or whatever, because I disagree with most of the takes against him. I know he had some sort of PI problem, but I think you can give me in college football. I don't really, put it blunt, I don't really give a crap about PIs. To me, it's not that valuable of a penalty. It's 15 yards. It's in the NFL, I think it's a bigger issue. I think getting the spot of the foul is a huge advantage. 15-yard penalty on some of these PIs, I'd rather play physical. Because when he plays physical, he makes more plays. He was an absolute lockdown cornerback for us last year. He didn't have one game where you can look at it and be like, wow, Iggy really screwed us there. Not one. Given not a lot of players on that team had those games. Besides for that one incident in the first Oregon game. But Iggy was, solid this entire time. And he's a great tackler and made one of the best plays of the entire season versus Penn State on that red zone stop. I think we could have argued Iggy was the best cornerback we had last year, Devin. So having him return is gigantic. And I think he returned because I think he wants to play himself to the first round. So I'm very excited for him. I'm going to call it another All-American season for Iggy this year. I think Iggy will be an All-American and a first-round pick in the NFL draft. I think he's that good. Then you go to Jermaine Matthews. I think Jermaine Matthews is, he's obviously a freak. You saw last year, he talked the most trash. That cornerback room talks so much trash, Devin. Holy crap. We have 2 ballers out there on the defensive backs, exactly who I'd want to be playing defensive backs. And we got, Matthews, who's, I think, again, he's going to be a star at Ohio State. He's an All-American as a true freshman, a freshman All-American for the Buckeyes. Played a lot last year, then coming back for his junior year. I think he's going to have a great junior year, and I think he's going to, get a nice high NFL draft grade. But I'm calling right now. I think we see Jermaine Matthews come back for his senior year and play himself in the first round, not this year, but next year. Then now we go to that cornerback 3 battle. You're right. Everyone wants to talk about Devin Sanchez or Aaron Scott or Bryce West, these 5-star cornerbacks. But I think Devin got this one nailed. I think it's going to be Lorenzo Styles. I don't think he loses that starting job. You got to remember, he's a 5th-year guy now, and he started at Notre Dame as a sophomore, and now he's 3 years later playing at Ohio State. He played a lot last year for the Buckeyes on the national championship winning team, and I think he comes back this year, and I think he wins that starting job at that nickel cornerback slot / third safety. I think you nailed it right there. I'm very obviously excited about Aaron Scott, Bryce West, and Devin Sanchez, and we've heard Devin Sanchez is a freak. We've been hearing nothing's JJ-like things, but JJ-like things from Devin Sanchez. And there's only been a few players where we hear that about in the preseason, and the ones that I can remember as of recent was Jeremiah Smith, Julian Sayin, Marvin Harrison Jr. were the 3 big players that were they're testing out. They're testing just out of this world. They're absolutely popping off and killing it. So those are the 3 starters. Definitely excited about Devin Sanchez, Aaron Scott, and Bryce West. It'll be interesting to see how Ohio State handles all of them playing because they're all. I'd feel comfortable with all of them playing. They're superstars who've had. They showed out versus Tennessee. They played well when they're blowing them out. So it'll be an interesting group of kids out there in the defensive back room. But this is one of the best defensive back rooms we've had in a while. Then you go into safety, Caleb Downs, All-American Caleb Downs, top. He should be the number 1 pick in the draft. I know he won't be because he's a safety, but he should be. He's the best player in college football returning. I would go out there and say that. And then you go on the other safety of Jaron McClain and Malik Hartford. That's going to be the best battle of the whole entire fall. That's about the only position that I can go through the starting lineups from right tackle to left tackle, the quarterback, the running backs, the wide receivers, the linebackers, the defensive line, to the first safety. I don't think I could truly confidently name you who's going to win this second safety job, because Hartford was a stud and McClain's a stud. And I just don't know who's going to win. I think they're different players in Lathan, but I think whoever wins it is going to have a nice role in the offense. And I think they're going to have a different role than Lathan. I think they'll be a little farther from the line of scrimmage, playing more of a ball hawking type style rather than a in the box run stopper type style like Lathan was. And Lathan had 3 years of starting experience for the Buckeyes, so it'll be an interesting replacement. And I'm very excited to see who wins this job. But all I know is they're pushing each other, and no one knows who's going to win. I mean, not one person I've talked to, Devin, even is picking a leader, which is weird. They're both just really good, and I don't see much separation between any of them. And I found that really interesting, because for all the other positions, Devin, we got Julian saying, Austin and Tigra and Carson but for that one, man, it's going to be a battle, and I'm going to be excited to, going after it, or, doing some more research into it as the time comes up and seeing who rolls out there versus Texas, because who knows, may just surprise us. Maybe just might be Devin Sanchez starting at safety. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. But yeah, man, exciting position battle. There's not many. Not too many going on that we don't have a good lead on. That's one of them. Kind of another one, man. Thank you, Sue. Kickers, right? We got the Ball State transfer. Jackson Corvell came in to push. Oh shoot, man! I literally been thinking of our kickers' name.
Jaden
Fielding, right?
I will never forget, Devin. I will never forget.
So. Dude, I know, man. It's really hard for me. If you watch me, you know my passion for the kicking game. I'll say right now it's a battle. And Fielding is really pushing himself. Hurt his leg, got stronger and stuff. But we went in the transfer portal and got another kicker who's very good. Kicked a couple 50-plus yarders last year. So we're excited there, man. That's a position battle that is currently going on as well. And Fielding knows, right? They brought in a kicker who was 26 for 34 on field goal attempts and made 54 for 56 extra points. And a couple of those were some 50-plus yarders, right? So a lot of good news for the Buckeyes, man. Let me get this. Lucia, thank you so much for the $5. Feels good not to worry about the offensive line for once. It absolutely does. It's kind of wild, the difference that we have here. One more thing, if you're worried about our defense this year, I just remind you, man, that Caleb Downs makes a pretty big impact on this defense by himself alone, man. Going back and watching some of these games, you get a reminder of that. Defensive coordinator is really important. Jim Knowles did a really good job, but Caleb Downs, dude. He really changes things. I mean, he's a defensive coordinator's absolute best friend. He's another coordinator on the field, right? So we got him back leading this group, and we're just loaded with talent. So,
and the add-on to that before we leave, Devin, it's like you got to realize the defense wasn't just Jim Knowles' product. That's what we have to remember. It wasn't a Jim Knowles product. The person who had the biggest say in the defense in that second half of the season was Ryan Day. Ryan Day had to say what happened in that defense when we won the national championship. That's a fact. That's very well publicized that Ryan Day and Larry Johnson had massive roles in that defense, especially after that Oregon game, because they said, wait, what the hell was that? That was horrific. Given I can't really blame Knowles too much for that, because that was a lot, Burke's fault. But it's not to put blame on a single player, but that's just kind of the reality of the game. But it was Ryan Day. Ryan Day is the mastermind. We have one of the greatest head coaches of all time on our team this year, and that's who you're trusting. You're trusting a Super Bowl winner and the Super Bowl winning head coach, defense coordinator, and the national champion, best coach in college football history, arguably. He has the highest win percentage since World War II. So if I'm basing off win percentage, then Ryan Day is the GOAT. So clearly he's a young head coach, has a lot more to prove, but he played 90 games, win 80 of them. He has a lot of say in all this stuff that happens, and I full trust in Ryan Day, and y'all should too. And people are gonna hate Matt Patricia no matter what. And is there gonna be roads? And there's gonna be bumps in the road, especially for the defense early on the road and whatever against these good offenses, the veteran quarterbacks. And we're just gonna have to be okay with it. That's what you kind of have to realize. So there's gonna be some bumps in the road. That's just a fact. It's gonna happen. Happens every year. It is a younger defense, but overall, I think by the playoffs, I think this defense is going to be legit. Because we have playmakers. We're faster than we were last year. That's a fact. We were faster than we were last year. So I'm very pumped up for this defense, and I'm ready to. I'm ready for the season. We're 32 days away, Devin.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. 30 some days away, and I'll tell you this: we have a reason to think that we can run this thing back. Our blue chip ratio was 90% last year. It's 89% this year. So we're not lacking on defense, on talent at all. Like we're not going to do that. You're not going to look at the Buckeyes this year and think, oh, dang, man, I wish we had more talent in that room. And I'm even saying that about the defensive line. I think the talent is there. I just do, man. So a lot of things to be excited about. New teams. So we're going to see some bumps in the road, man. But it comes down to this. Can we be playing our best football in the playoffs, man, at the end of the year? We're getting in there. Are we going to be hot then? Well, the coaching staff knows how to do it. Ryan Day knows how to do it. He just did it to perfection last year. I mean, perfection, dude. And I'm not sure you can go through a bumpier season, right? I'm sure we could all come up with some, but last year was pretty dang bumpy, right? For a coach to able to get that team together and play the way they were playing. But we got the tools to do it this year. I promise you that. So don't let anybody tell you any differently. Funky, any final words before we let you go, man?
Nothing from me. Just thanks for tuning in, guys. The B Moses and Nevada Buck show will not be on today, so thanks for tuning into this show. They'll be back tomorrow at their normal 8 p.m. time slot. But yeah, I was excited to be here today with you guys, and very excited for the season, man. I mean, I'll be there week 1 versus Texas, and I'm pumped up. It's going to be a fun roller coaster like season. If we learned one thing from last year, it's the trust in Ryan Day. Trust in Ryan Day, trust in the Buckeyes. And by the end of the season, we'll look back at it, and then that's when you can judge the team. But let's not jump to the conclusion after week 1, week 2, week 3, because there's going to be some bumps in the road. Will it be versus Texas? Will it be versus Illinois? Will it be versus Penn State? Or will it be versus, the team up north? Who knows? But let's just go in this mindset with a growth mindset, learning mindset, and get ready to for a fun and exciting season, and just enjoy every game. Enjoy it. Because it goes by too fast, Evan. It goes by too fast. As Nevada, the grandpa Buck says.
Yeah, it does go by fast, man. Thank you for the compliments on the beard. This is my Ryan Day beard. Had it forever. I'm interested in taking some bets that involve me shaving my beard. So if you guys can think of any good ones, man, throw them out there. I might be your dude to latch onto that hook, dude, and we'll see, man. If I lose the bet, I'll shave my beard. We'll look into that, man. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button on both channels, the Buckeye Boyz with a Z and Scoop. We appreciate you guys. Got some good shows coming for you this weekend. Caden Dixon Wyatt's mom's coming on. Intrinsics in the chat. What up, Intrinsics? Appreciate you. Hopefully we get him on Wednesday. And got another interview, but I'm blanking on who that is. But we got some good stuff lined up for you guys. But on that note, we appreciate you guys for joining us. Appreciate the support. Love you guys. Go Buckeyes. OH.
Yo.